What is up, everybody? My name's Avenged One, or Nick, and I'm back. And I'm back here with Paul.
Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswald. Oh, he's going in the thumbnail, and he's actually related to King of Queens, which is just like our last topic. Anyways, Bromocast number 8. So this is our 8th week in a row, which means, well, I mean, it would make sense.
This is the largest commitment I've ever made in my life.
Exactly. I've never done anything as much as this because each video is about an hour long. So that's what, like 8 hours? That's crazy.
So how are you, Nick?
Terrible. I'm okay. I guess.
I heard you were doing some last minute Father's Day shopping because this will come out after Father's Day, but we're recording it before Father's Day.
Exactly. We're recording it.
Can you talk about it? I just realized you're at home.
Before Father's. I can, but my dad's at work, so it's cool.
Okay.
What
did you end up getting?
Nothing. So I went to the store, to the mall, and I was gonna buy him like an album for this band called Clutch, which I know he likes because I introduced him to him a few years back, and I know he loves them. And they had a new album come out last year, so I was gonna get him that. And FYE is closed because they're moving locations in the mall. So I was like, yeah. And then I walked around the mall for 2 hours and ended up just buying myself something. And that's why I have this new nice shirt on from Sears.
You're a winner.
Yeah, so he gets off at like 3 in the morning. So I'll probably run to Walmart and grab like a Father's Day card and some steaks for him to cook because I know he loves barbecuing.
That's true.
Something. Yeah. What about you? What'd you get your El Papo?
Did I say what I got last week?
I don't think you did.
Okay, so I have a story about that, even if I did. Because I'm not getting him that anymore if I did say. What I was going to get him was a medieval etching.
Oh, okay.
He likes to collect old shit.
Uh-huh.
So I got him a medieval etching of Saint Matthias. You know who Saint Matthias is, Catholic boy?
Of course! No, I don't.
Saint Matthias was the 12th disciple that replaced Judas. You know who Judas is, right?
Yeah, I know who Judas is. At least there's that.
So yeah, so I ordered that, I paid for it, and then I was like, earlier this week, I was like, ooh, this thing hasn't shipped yet. Like, it's not going to get here in time. Holy crap. Then it was like Wednesday, I'm like, okay, it's still not shipping. I'm getting pretty worried. Then on Thursday, they sent me an email saying, yeah, we can't find the thing you bought, so here's your refund. I'm like, fuck. They told me a bit late. So today I had to do some last minute Father's Day shopping too. And I went to some antique stores because, like I said, my father likes old shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to one store, and there's this old lady there that worked there. She was really nice, but she had like trouble moving around and stuff.
Old people things, yeah.
All my stories end up about old people.
I don't know. Maybe I have a fetish for old people or something.
Anyways, I was looking around and I saw something my dad might like. It was a little statue of a porcelain Oriental woman. He likes to collect things from Japan.
Ooh.
It was just this lady reclining with a shamisen, which is like a Japanese guitar-looking thing.
Oh, I've seen JonTron. I know what a shamisen is. It's like, oh, I guess I'm familiar with it. Just didn't know the name.
And the old lady came, well, I don't know, like making old lady noises because she's struggling.
I
felt so guilty. And she had to bend down because for some reason the lock to the case in the very bottom of the cabinet. So she had to bend to the ground, unlock it, stand back up, pull back the thing. I helped her pull it back because I couldn't stand to watch this. And she's like, all right, you can take it off the shelf. And I wasn't sure if I was going to buy it yet. So I took it off, and I was like, it's okay. Do you have anything else that might be from Japan around here? And she's like, no, this is really about it. But if you go next door to the other antique shop, they'll probably have something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this old lady is so nice. She like struggled like hell to get me this thing, and then she's just telling me to go next door and buy it. So, all right, I'll go take a look. Thank you. And she's like, I'll just leave this here if you decide to come back and get it. I'm like, oh, thank you, perfect. So I left the store, and I went next door, and they did have a lot more stuff from Asia, specifically Japan. And I did find something I liked better than that. I got him a set of Japanese prints.
Oh, okay.
And I got those. But then
Wait, what'd you say?
that I just came into this. Then I started feeling guilty because I walked into the other old lady's shop, made her struggle to take down, and then I wasn't going to buy her thing. So I felt so guilty. I went back in her shop and bought her thing too. And these things aren't cheap.
You bought it just because you felt guilty?
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is?
Huh.
So I bought both objects, and after I finished buying the thing from the first store I visited,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, you're just so nice. I had to come back and buy this from you. And then the old lady from the first store was like, yeah, I own the second store. And I felt so bad because the reason I bought the other thing was because I felt guilty that I wasn't buying anything from her. But I did buy something from her because she owned both stores.
Oh, wow. So you just gave her a bunch of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ. Did you be like, I actually want to return this now?
No, like I said, I think I can use both gifts, just at different times.
Okay, that's good at least.
I also bought my mom something, so I gave her a shit ton of money today.
Jesus Christ. On $300 or less?
It was more than $300 total.
Oh, damn. Look at Bala. Cash money, boats, and hoes.
I think it was a little less than 500 total.
Oh, wow. You spent a fair amount then.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Good for you. I'm not going to do
Well,
that.
I've given some pretty shit gifts previous years.
Yeah, same. Me too. You know,
Or
like
just
when you go to
joking.
like Walmart and you find that thing that has like barbecue sauce, like a brush for food, and like a couple seasonings.
Just give him like a paintbrush and go, oh, it's for sauce.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow I'm gonna be an even worse son because not only did I not get anything like great, I'm going to a concert tomorrow. And guess who I'm taking with me?
I'm guessing not your dad.
Nope, but his other son. So, me and Jeff are going to see Avenged Sevenfold and Metallica in Soldier Field at downtown tomorrow at like 5, 6-ish. But I'm gonna leave early because I want to.
And Metallica are gonna be there.
Yeah,
That's like your wet dream.
I know. That's why I spent $500 on tickets like the second I saw them. Because I bought the.
That's actually really cool. That's really fun.
I bought the general admission tickets, so you're literally there's no seats, so you're able to push your way through the crowd and get to the front. And I was like, "Yeah, boy, it's going down." Actually, I gotta find those tickets tonight because I don't know where they are. Oh, there they are. I found them. So yeah, that's gonna be fun, but not for my dad.
Well, I plan on asking my brothers for some money, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, are you gonna give them say that's a present from all of you?
Yeah, I always say it's a present from all of us, but I'm always the one that comes up with the presents. My brothers don't do shit.
Yeah, they're like, "Fuck you, El Daddy." El Dad.
Yeah, pretty much. I buy my mom and my dad gifts. They just sit at home and go, woo. But they literally make that noise.
They go. Okay, whatever. Anyways, so last night I was so I have a problem now. I stay up really late. I wouldn't say that's a recent problem. I'd say that's been an ongoing problem since like I was
Birth.
born. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I go to bed around like 5 or 6 in the morning every night. And last night I got on this kick of watching animal videos on YouTube and just like
cute animal videos or
cute animal videos, scary animal videos.
if it has animal, you click on it.
Exactly. And so one of them was like a tiger that his or a lion, his 3 best friends were these mini dachshunds, like wiener dogs for those of you who don't know. And like these wiener dogs loved the lion and the lion loved them. It's like the funniest video. But then I saw. But my favorite one was, it said, man gets viciously attacked by a seal. And so he's just laying there and you see his feet. And then like this little fat seal just comes flopping over. And then it just lays down on his foot and just like puts his mouth over it and like falls asleep. I was like, okay, I know like clubbing baby seals is like an awful thing, but they make it so easy. Like, I would never do it, and I don't condone it because I love animals to death. But, like, the seal, like, walked up to him and went to bed on him. Aren't you wild?
I got a question.
Yeah.
Would you ever eat cat or dog meat?
If it was already killed, and let's say it was
like you go to a restaurant and you see it on the menu. So presumably that means it's already killed.
If I saw it on the menu, I don't think I'd eat it or order it because I'd feel like then I'm like putting in to get these animals killed more. It's like, oh, it's a big seller. We have to get more cat, you know? But if I went to like someone's house and they were like, this is what's for dinner, it's cat. And I was like, I don't want to be rude.
But what if they go, oh, cat's really pulling the guests?
I don't know. I know my grandpa had dog when he was in the Vietnam War.
Do you think it's wrong to eat dog meat?
In America, yes. Because it's a different culture, you know, different lifestyle. Like, if you go to other countries, like, they worship cows, you know, and it's wrong to kill and eat a cow. But here, it's like, it's okay, whatever. I think it depends where you are in the world. In my eyes, I think it's wrong to eat a dog or a cat. But if I were
fair answer.
Yeah, if I were to go to Korea, though, and that's what they were having, I'd eat it. I'm not going to say no. That's their lifestyle, you know? But I think it's... I do, and on a personal standpoint, I think dogs and cats are smarter than cows.
Pigs are pretty damn smart.
Pigs? Pigs are really smart. Pigs are, like, genius level smart. I wouldn't say genius level, but they're smart.
I give him a math homework to a pig, he gives it back finished.
And I think that's a testament for eating something. Like, would I eat something that's dumb over something that's smart? Probably. You know? Like, if I had to eat a bird, I'd probably eat, just a robin over a crow. Because, like, a robin, it's just a stupid robin. But a crow, he's smart. He probably knows some arithmetic. I don't know.
I think most people avoid the crow because it eats dead things.
Well, whatever. We all eat dead things.
Yeah, but not like...
Shit, he's right.
But, like, crows eat, like, unclean dead things. We eat, like... Theoretically, we eat clean cows.
Humans eat booty, Paul.
Huh?
Humans eat booty.
Pork butt.
Pork butt. No, I don't mean like that. I mean like other human booty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I eat it every day.
Me too. And it's usually my own.
Yeah, that's my yoga practice.
Yeah. You like
I go between my legs and eat my own booty.
Yeah. And if you can't, like, if you're not feeling that good that day and you're a little bit bloated, you could just pick at it. Pick.
Oh my gosh, I had some weird ass dreams yesterday. I really couldn't sleep. I think it's because remember I told you I fell asleep?
Uh-huh.
Then I woke up, I downed a Fresca, and I think that kept me up the rest of the night. Like, I immediately woke up, responded to your text, chugged a Fresca because I was dehydrated.
Yeah.
Then went back to bed, and I couldn't stay in bed. I think it might be because I just chugged down a sugary drink.
Probably. That would probably do it. It wouldn't do it to me, but yeah.
So I had a whole bunch of weird dreams. And one of them, I was just laying on top of I was sleeping, right? Mm-hmm. I was laying on top of my bed, like on top of the covers, and in my underwear, because I just sleep in my underwear. And it was really hot, so I was just laying on top of it because I didn't want to have the sheets on. Okay. Like it's at home now. And then my mom stormed into my room. And she was furious. She was yelling at me about my girlfriend, Mandy. She was like, "You've had sex with Mandy, haven't you?" And I'm like, I don't think she would really care in real life, but for some reason in this gym, she drastically cared. And for some reason, in this dream, I drastically did not want her to know that. So I'm like, no, I didn't. And then my mom's like, yeah, you did. I can prove it. Then she pulled out down my underwear and said, you've been manscaping, see? And the only reason you do that is if you're having sex. It was such a weird fucking dream. Then as soon as she pulled out my underpants and said it, I woke up. It was such a weird dream.
You were just sleeping, and then you woke up screaming, Mama, no! That is so weird. What would cause that kind of dream?
I don't know. I had another weird dream, too.
Shoot.
Because I think that's the theme of this podcast. Paul fucks with old ladies and has weird dreams.
Yeah, and sometimes he occasionally fucks old ladies in his dreams. I don't know if that's true, but it's probably coming. It'll be here one day. You can go ahead.
So in this other dream, I went to this weird kind of museum-like thing. Not like an art museum, more like a natural history museum. And we went there. I was there with Mandy, my girlfriend, and a bunch of other people that I don't really remember. The only person I do remember is Emma Roberts. Do you know who Emma Roberts is?
I know who Emma Watson is.
Yeah, she was in American Horror Story.
Oh, is she, which one? Which person?
She played one of the lead roles in season 3, Coven. She was Madison Montgomery. See season 3?
Oh, she's from that stupid show from Nickelodeon that I hate, Unfabulous. Yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, she was there. She's the only person I remember being there than Mandy, but there are other people there.
Okay, she's going on.
And we went to see the virtual reality movie experience. This museum was showing off this new technology. And we sat in this amphitheater looking at a movie screen. And they were hyping it up at first by showing how lame it was, kind of. They were just doing usual 3D movie stuff. Things pop out a little bit. There's a little bit of doubt, but nothing really impressive.
Yeah. And
then they decided to crank up the awesome in this virtual theater by having the screen started to tear, the movie screen started tearing. And from the wall behind the movie screen, this ice dragon burst out.
Oh, shit.
They just started shooting ice everywhere. And I remember Emma Roberts was freaking the fuck out. And I had to calm her down. I was like, this isn't real. This isn't real.
It's okay, Emma.
Meanwhile, glacier-sized pieces of ice were flying by our heads. I don't know why. My dreams are so lame. The ice dragon can't even be real in it.
I know we talked about this in the podcast already. I think the first one. But are your a considerable amount of your dreams first person or third person?
First person.
First person, yeah, me too. But do you ever get those nice wide shots and then a nice pan in and then, the camera pans around and you're like, wow, my dream self is good cameraman. I get that all the time.
And then the dreams started getting weirder.
Mm-hmm. So
after we did that, we decided to go to the museum supermarket, which makes perfect sense because museums just have supermarkets in them.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The museum supermarket, I started making a hamburger, which is something you totally do at supermarkets. I was just picking up the raw ingredients and putting them together to make a burger. I put a whole shit ton of ketchup, some cheese, and I put them on a bun. And then I asked one of the store attendants, sir, do you know where the jelly is? Because for some reason I want jelly on my hamburger. And the store attendant was like, yeah, I do. And he pulled up a jar of jelly, opened it up, put his fingers in, and flicked a bunch to my face.
What the fuck?
And I couldn't take it, Yeah. So I took the top bun off my burger and then smashed the rest into his face. And then that started a store-wide food fight. Me and him were running down the museum supermarket aisles, throwing food at each other. And I remember Mandy is often embarrassed to be in public with me because I'm so weird. And this dream took it to an extreme. She was screaming and crying as I was picking up eggs and throwing them at him and stuff like that. And of course, since we were accidentally hitting other people, Like they were getting involved, and then all his friends that also worked at the supermarket were getting involved, and it was becoming a huge mess. And she was just in the corner crying.
And Paul doesn't give two shits. He's too busy.
I didn't give a shit in the dream. I was having the time of my life, and she was having the worst time of her life.
Paul's like, "This is the best day ever," and Randy's just in the corner.
And then I woke up when she grabbed me by the collar and started yelling at me.
Were you at her house when you had that dream, or were you at home?
I was at home.
Oh, okay. Weirder. What if you woke up to her choking you in real life? She was like, "I knew you were dreaming something like that."
Okay, she's gotten mad at me before because I cheated on her in dreams.
Why would she get mad at you? I think everyone's done that, guys and girls. Like, sometimes you just be having... It's not like in a dream you're like, "Oh, no, I possibly couldn't."
Oh, yeah, she's cheated on me in dreams before.
See? But she got... That's funny.
Hold on, someone just walked in the door.
Uh-oh. Cockward. That's okay. I'll fill the silence with me speaking my voice and stuff like that. I don't know. I used to... I don't know if you can hear me, but remember I used to write those stories? And I used to write a lot of stories and stupid shit when I was younger, maybe in like 6th, 7th, 5th, 4th grade, around that time. And I had some crazy stories. Well, I remember I had this one story about my dog Petey and my cats Jojo and Strawberry when they were all alive. And it was like Petey moved to Japan or something, or China, somewhere, some Asian country, because the cats were being mean to him. But when he moved there, all the dogs started to be mean to him because he was a round-eyed dog. So he had to tape his eyes like kind of closed, so he had squinted eyes, and he would fit in with the Asian dogs. And I was like, what a fucked up dream, because like if you think about it, I turned that into the teacher, and she read it and didn't say that was racist at all. She was like, "Good story." And she gave me like a 3 out of 3. I was like, "Oh, thanks, Miss Meyer. That was really nice of you to respect my prepubescent, unaware, unethical racism." But you know, 'tis elementary school, 'tis life indeed. I think that's kind of funny though. This is funny because this is the I am the king of stalling. I'm always the king of stalling. And the reason why I am the king of stalling is because I'm the king of awkward. So one time in I think it was freshman year of high school, I was in photography class, and I had to do a presentation, and I didn't write down the presentation or anything like that. I really didn't write down my paper or anything at all. So it's my turn to go up, and I used to have pretty, I wouldn't say severe, but I'd say like mild to like halfway severe stage fright. And so I got up on the stage, or it wasn't really a stage, it was just in front of the monitor. And I got in front of the monitor, and it was my turn. So I had this PowerPoint, and it was so half-assedly put together to the point where it was kind of hilarious. And I remember for some reason, just being the young me, I had to put pictures of like Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Godzilla in the PowerPoint. And so these things are on the wall, and I put a picture of Godzilla up there, like I just said, but there was like a subtitle or something, and it was like a Godzilla pun, and I wish to God, I could remember what it was, but I can't remember what the pun was. Well, all I know, in about a quarter of the way through my presentation, I start laughing. Now, I'm awkward, as I know you are too, and so I start laughing and shit. And the problem arises when I realize, oh my God, I can't stop laughing. Like, this is an epidemic. I cannot stop laughing. So I'm in front of like 30, maybe 40 people in this photography class, trying to do my presentation, but miserably failing, because I could not, for the life of me, stop laughing. And so it took me, the teacher was like, "Nick, do you want to sit down and finish later?" And I was like, "No, I got this shit." So it took me like 20 to 25 minutes to finish what should have been a 5 to 10 minute presentation, because my dumbass just kept laughing and laughing and laughing. And that was a problem continually throughout high school, as I would laugh. And I remember this one dude, and I'll never forget him. His name was Shelton. And which is, by the way, why would you name your kid Shelton? You must not like your kid. We'll get that out of the way right now. His name was Shelton. And me and Shelton, okay. So we had this presentation, a group presentation in English class in sophomore year of high school. And the teacher's name was Mr. Upton. And my friend Tyler Forrester, God, I gotta stop saying full names. My friend Tyler was in there. And Tyler was sitting in the back, and I sat next to him. But I was up there with my group, and we had to make kind of like a sales pitch about making like a sports stadium or sports center or something. And we had to pitch it to the city of, I think it was Homewood that we were in, or Flossmoor, to give us the funds for it. And so we went up there, and I wrote mine, and I'm actually always been very good at writing. I've always been like great at it. And so mine is perfect, flawless. Well, Shelton, for the football dude, it was his turn, and it was going in a line of blah, blah, blah. We had it set up to where I organized it to where you have to read it this way or else it won't make sense. And so it was my turn to go up, since we're all up there together, and it was like one dude, me, and then Shelton. But instead, when it was my turn to speak, since we were taking turns speaking, Shelton went out and he took my place and switched. And so he started reading my lines. And I was like, okay. So I rehearsed my lines. And I did not rehearse his lines. I don't even know what his lines are. So now I have to go out in front of this whole class and read Shelton's lines, which was like not fun, not good. Honestly, just quite ridiculous to say the least, because I had, like I was saying before, had some pretty mild stage fright. And so I'm up there reading Shelton's lines, and I was doing fine and dandy, doing great, doing excellent, and all that good stuff, until all of a sudden he put this one line in there, and it was blah blah blah, how can we do this, how can we do that, blah blah blah, one word. That's how it goes. He was like, and I will tell you how we can do this with one word. And then the word was Sports Center. Now, if you don't know, Sports Center is 2 words. And it would have been fine, because as I read it, I knew, I was like, oh my god, that's 2 words, I'm going to get made fun of. But nobody said anything. And so I was like, okay, I think we're in the cool. And I was quiet for like about a minute, or maybe a little less than a minute. It seemed like forever. But then my friend Tyler in the back, he knew. He recognized that was a fuck up. And so he started laughing. Like, he was laughing hysterically. And then I was like, oh, fuck. Because he started laughing, then everyone realized what it was about. And then I started laughing. And then I could not finish the presentation, like, for the life of me. It was just ridiculous. So then later that year, I had another presentation. And once again, I always slacked in school. And it was how to draw a cat, which I have, like, the best technique as to how to draw a cat ever in the history of the world ever. And so this technique, which I will show you guys sometime in the future, I was doing the presentation on something how-to, and it was my turn, so I'm explaining in the class, well, this is how you draw a cool cat, and I had, like, the paper wrote out nice, and I'm getting to the legs. Now, the legs are intricate. They're actually a lot more intricate than what I did. So you draw down a line, and then you make the paw, and then you draw around, and then you hook back up to the body with the leg with another line. And so when I get to the leg, I draw the line down, and then the class starts laughing, and I'm like, oh no, they think that was the leg, just the line. They think just the one tiny stick line was its leg. And I didn't have the heart in me to just make the leg, the paws, and go up. So then I just drew 3 more lines and was like, and that's how you make a cat. And then I got off the stage because I was so uncomfortable. So flash forward. I'm done with high school. There was a lot of awkward presentations and awkward moments throughout my high school career. But we get to college, and I moved up to up here in Elk Grove Village, and I'm going to Harper College down the street, and I'm in speech class. And now, at this point, I was already doing YouTube for quite a while, maybe about 1.5 years, or a year, something like that. I had been doing YouTube for quite a while, so I had gotten a lot more comfortable with speaking. I had worked at McDonald's for a while, so I was a lot more comfortable with public places, and I was like, speech class, I could do this. But I still had that little bit of, like, childish fear of stage fright in me. So she gave us, like, the outline as how to give a speech with, like pre and something blah blah blah. I don't remember how to do it now, but she gave us the main ideas on how to form a speech and how to actually give the speech. And so she wanted us in class, like, very quickly to write a speech and how to give a speech. And it was for an application for like an iPhone or an Android or a Windows phone, an application and how to use it and what it does and how much it costs, and try to sell the class with this speech. And so everyone was doing their speeches, but me being the little comical man that I am, my app, everyone's app was like, oh, do this, do that, GPS, order a pizza. My app was called Slap-a-Ho. And so I went up on the stage, and I was talking this, and I was like, have you ever found yourself in a predicament where someone has wronged you in a way that is unforgivable, unprecedented? Well, I was like, with my application, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. With the click of a button, using quantum mechanics and quantum physics, you can slap a hoe anywhere in the world at any given point in time. The professor was like, oh dear God. And then she looked up at me and she was like, Nick, please don't make me make you stop. And I was like, oh no, it's not going to give, I was like, it's not that bad. But they let me, and everyone was dying laughing. And I actually kept my cool. And I was proud of myself because I knew it was funny. And I prepared for it to be funny. And that, my friends, is how Nicholas Vaughn Elliott overcame what we all know as stage fright. So now, ever since then, or I'd say maybe even a little bit before, since I've been doing YouTube and all that, I've never really had stage fright too much afterwards. And so now, just like Paul, I could go anywhere and still uncomfortable on the inside, but I'm loud, I'm awkward, I'm a little bit abrasive, I'm irritating. Like, I will pretend to faint in the middle of an aisle with like 30 people, and I'll be like, oh, I'm good. Like, I don't care anymore, and I don't know if that's good. Like, I need to go back to the Nick that was shy, because now I am awkward as hell. So we're going to wait for Paul to come back because he's taken a year and a half. We're back! There was no break in between anything at all, not a couple hours because of awkwardness and blah, 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 blah. Yeah!
Professional. Most professional podcast on the internet.
Most professional podcast. This episode's going to be called Technical Difficulties. So Paul's girlfriend.
If you're gonna skip over an episode of the Bromocast, skip over this episode.
Skip over this one. It's gonna be good though. Paul, do you want to tell them where you went and why you had to go?
Well, I'm at my girlfriend's house currently, and as we were recording this podcast, she walked in. That's why we cut out. And since I talk about things like my mom accusing me of manscaping, I figured we probably shouldn't continue the podcast while my girlfriend's mother is on the premises.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's scoping out the place, sniffing for balls or something.
Sniffing for balls?
Yeah. She's like there better be no boys here.
Well,
all I know.
Yeah, she didn't know I was here. It was like Metal Gear Solid. It was like, boop.
Did she really honestly know that you were there, though, before she came home?
I think she did, yeah.
I would have been so uncomfortable if I was you.
One time, totally uncomfortable.
I used to have a girlfriend in Norway. You might know that, Paul.
Maybe.
And well, she had to work. Obviously, she couldn't get off of work for like 2 months, but I didn't because I didn't have a working permit in Norway. So I would just be at her parents' house before we got our own apartment out there. And it was always uncomfortable a little bit, just not because of their parents, but because of me. And so her parents would be like so nice to me, but I'd just be sitting on the couch with them, like not saying anything for like 6 hours. or I'd go into Siri's bedroom and I'd just stay in there, and her dad would be like, "You could come out and hang out with us," and I'd be like, "I'm okay.
I don't like people. No, thank you.
I'm just gonna chill in here and relax." And it was always uncomfortable. Well, anyways, her dad Vidar was a what do you call that thing where you can like build houses?
Contractor?
I don't know. He was one of those like people, and
real estater?
No, like maybe like
house
a carpenter.
Carpenter?
Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, he was able to build stuff like rooms and buildings and bedrooms, and his he had this giant saw in the hallway because they were reconstructing their house, and I had just woke up and I was all jet lagged, and I went out into the hallway and I saw the saw, and being me who I am, I was like as I fidget a lot, so I just went in there and I grabbed the button and I pressed it, and the saw was plugged in.
Oh my goodness.
And it went really loud and scared the living crap out of me.
Did like I like to think that it was like a chainsaw propped against the wall, like the blade on the ground, and you pressed it, and you scuffed the floor up to like high hell.
No, it wasn't it was just like a saw table, but like a really powerful one.
Mm-hmm.
But I told her parents the instant they came home. I was like, "You're not gonna believe what happened to me." And I talked to Siri a couple days ago, and she told me her mom still makes fun of me about it. She said, "Yeah, whenever you come up in conversation, my mom is like, remember that one time Nick pressed the saw thing and scared the crap out of himself?" I'm always like, it's good to know that I'm remembered by that. By being awkward. There'd be no other way to be remembered.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I'm not going to be remembered as anything but awkward, I think.
Mm-hmm. How many times throughout the day do you think someone tells a story to their kids or their family members about that weird person they saw at the store, which was either one of us?
I hope it's more often than it probably is. I hope that's a legacy on their lives.
Yeah. I gotta tell you the story about this weird white kid I saw. Oh my god.
Oh, weird white kids.
We're the weirdest of white kids.
Alright. So since you brought up an ex, I feel like it's fair that I should tell a story about an ex.
Okay.
Barely an ex.
Mandy, don't get angry.
No! Well, actually, no, I want to tell a different story. An even worse story. It's just, I don't remember if I told this one or not, but it's about the weird almost date.
Oh, okay. Of like
So,
you're almost dating?
It's a dating story that doesn't theoretically involve dating.
Oh, those are the worst.
So, I was in a history class in college.
Uh-huh, as one does.
And I went to DePaul University on the Loop, and if anyone knows where that is, it's right next to the Art Institute of Chicago. Like, literally across the street. And my history teacher, for an assignment towards the beginning of the year, was like, okay, I'm going to tell you at the beginning of the year now, so you have time to do this, but at some point, you need to go down to the Art Institute, find a picture that relates to a topic we cover in class, and then write a couple pages on about it. No big deal. And then she jokingly said, it's perfect, because the Art Institute is free to all the DePaul students. It'd make a great date night. And, because she's like, it's free and everything. And
I think I know this story.
stupid Kyle Paul, who was really awkward and trying to burst out of his shell a little bit, decided to try to be a little spontaneous. So there is this one girl in the class who I thought looked kind of pretty, so I'm like, maybe I'll ask her out. Well, then Paul, as always, procrastinated on the project and waited until about like 1 or 2 weeks before it was due. And I'm like, all right, I probably should do this. I need to ask the person out. And the reason I thought I was reminded of this was because the teacher asked the class who was done she was just like reminding us about it, and she asked who did it already. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I get to see if the person I'm interested in did it already or not. And she did, and I'm like, fuck. So I decided to ask someone else. Her name was Maureen. And so after class, I did this like the most awkward way possible. I feel so sorry for her. We took the elevator together. I purposely stalled so we can catch the elevator with her. And we were in the elevator. I feel so bad. You should never ask someone out in an elevator.
Why would you do that? They can't go anywhere.
Maybe that's what I thought. I'm like, she can't run. But I did that because I'm a piece of shit. And I asked her, I just thought about that now. I never had that realization. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I asked her in an elevator. I'm an asshole. I asked her if she wanted to do this project with me. And she kind of like hesitated a little bit and then went, yeah, we can do it. And then we talked about when. And it was a date, in quotations.
Yeah. And Paul was like, I got a date.
I was like, yeah. It's in the Agra as fuck, probably, but it's a chance. So I got to the art institute before she did. We were gonna meet there, and then I saw her come in, and she had another guy with her, and I went, "Fuck!" my heart just like sunk. I was like, no.
You poor thing. You told me about this, and I felt so bad.
It gets worse. So like she walks up and she introduces this guy as her boyfriend.
Of course.
Of course. And he sticks out his hand to shake my hand, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm left-handed. And sometimes when I get really uncomfortable when I meet someone, I'll stick out my left hand to shake their hand back. Oh no, I remember. I stuck my hand out first. I was awkward and I stuck my left hand out and he just looked at my hand like, because, it was the wrong hand. And he knew it was the wrong hand. And I knew it was the wrong hand. And I had a decision. I could pull my hand back and put my right hand out and admit I made a mistake, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my thought process was I didn't want to appear weak. So I kept my left hand out there and stared him dead in the eye as confidently as I could. And I made him shake my hand with his left hand.
That's my friend.
Because my thought process was, if I put my hand down, I feel uncomfortable. If I make him do it, he feels uncomfortable.
And you did it, and you got him
uncomfortable. That was probably the stupidest thought process I ever had. But that's what happened.
Oh my god. See, if it was me, if I was that guy, I would have just shook your left hand with my right hand. I would have grabbed the outside of it. Nice to meet you.
It was so awkward. And to this day, I hope to God that she didn't bring her cousin along or something. It's like, okay, listen, I got stuck in the elevator with this really weird guy. I don't want him to think it's a date. So can you pretend to be my boyfriend? To this day, I'm terrified. That's what actually happened.
Why are you so scared if that's what happened?
I don't know. But I feel like that'd be way worse than if she actually did have a boyfriend.
Yeah, because then you're trying to man up to her cousin.
Well, no, I feel like it'd be worse because I'm such a loser. She faked having a boyfriend.
Oh, true. Because if she did have a boyfriend, at least you're like, well, she had a boyfriend.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if it wasn't, and she was like, she just didn't want to date me. Something about being rejected to a date is awful because that's just saying no to free food and entertainment.
Yeah, and the reason why I had that suspicion is because they were the most awkward couple I've ever seen. They never touched each other. They never really even spoke to each other much. Probably because I imagine in reality it's because he just felt as awkward as I did.
Yeah. Well, he probably knew.
And when we went exploring the museum, she would stay closer to me than she did him most of the time. Mm-hmm. But I guess it's because we were working on the project together. I don't know. But I thought they seemed so distant and off from each other that maybe they weren't actually dating.
Well,
that's that fear started from.
How often do you think about this?
Oh, every night before I go to bed.
He lays down, he gets comfortable.
I just brought it up to myself again.
Yeah, Paul lays down, gets comfortable in his bed, pulls the blanket up to just above his nipples, and he lays there and he looks so peaceful, and then his eyes jet open.
That's exactly what happened.
Every night of his life.
Every class after that confrontation was so awkward for me.
Oh, I'm sure. Did she ever try to talk to you, or did you just try to...
Oh, no, we never spoke to each other again.
That's so uncomfortable.
It was so uncomfortable.
That is so freaking uncomfortable. I could not handle that. But kudos to you for going through. Did you guys get something to eat afterwards?
No, she was like, hey, we got to the end of the museum, and she was like, me and my boyfriend are going to get something to eat. I'm like, oh, okay, see you later.
Because you knew she didn't want you to come with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should have been the Paul that I know and been like, cool, where are we going?
I should have, but I was too embarrassed. I was the longest. It probably took us 45 minutes, but it felt like 10 hours.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was so awkward.
I'm sure. See, I'm not good with situations like that either. And then, like, you're just like, well, I guess this is where I am now, and I have to live this.
Yep, exactly.
Until it's done. I don't know. I think as a kid, I was always like, no, Dad, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. But now it's like, well, I'm doing this now. Because I have to, and it's just going to be uncomfortable.
I have another story with someone who actually I did date very shortly. Not long.
Wait. Can I say something before you say that? Is this... Okay, now I might be wrong, and I might have told some people something that might be wrong about you.
Uh-oh.
Is this the girl that you broke up with because you kind of stopped talking to her?
Wait, what? Yeah.
I've been telling people that you had a girlfriend and that you guys broke up because you were too busy with school and Pokemon.
Yeah, it was that girl.
And every time someone brings it up to me about you, the time length gets longer. It's like, oh, is that the girl that Paul didn't talk to for 4 months because he was playing Pokemon? And I'm always like, school too.
Because I was playing Pokemon.
Yeah, they never
I'll
mentioned the school
explain
part.
why things didn't work after I tell this story. This story might help explain why things didn't work, actually.
I feel like it's too late for me to change people's minds on this. But go ahead.
Okay, so, I was with this... We actually met on OkCupid.
Wait, I know her name. Hold on. It's, Megan.
Yeah. So this
was I not supposed to say that?
No, it's fine. I'm pretty sure I told Mandy this.
Okay, cool.
So she's whimpering in the corner. This is a really cringy story. So this is our second and last date.
Wow. Good start.
So we went downtown in the city to the Chicago Cultural Center.
Okay.
And this was like one of the worst dates ever. Like I'm trying to remember where we originally planned to go. It was somewhere else, but I remember where we wanted to go. We wanted to go to a state park, but the forecast predicted rain, so we wanted to do something indoors instead. So this is like a last minute plan. I'm like, let's go down, because we agreed that neither of us really wanted to spend money, which is one of the reasons why we didn't go to state park, because we were both broke as fuck. I'm like, that's totally fine with me. And that's semi-important later, that we both agree not to spend money. So I'm like, let's go to the Chicago Cultural Center. It's free. And they have cool like art stuff and shit. And they're like, awesome. She's like, let's do it. So we did that. We took a train down, went to the Chicago Cultural Center. And I realized this is a moment when they were transitioning between exhibits. There were almost no exhibits in the Cultural Center. It was like empty.
Awkward.
So it was super awkward. There was very little to see. Like the building itself is beautiful, but other than the building itself, there was no like sculptures or art exhibits. So we were kind of just wandering around. And we eventually found this one room that looked over towards Millennium Park, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was a cool view. But on the window, there were spikes on the windowsill. Now, in lots of major cities, a lot of buildings have some kind of prevention to keep pigeons from sitting on them. This place put spikes on the windowsill so pigeons couldn't sit on them without getting like stabbed.
That's for homeless people, dumbass.
It's for homeless people?
Yeah, not pigeons. So homeless people don't sleep on their windows.
No, it was not. It was nowhere near big enough for a homeless person to sit on.
Oh, I'm sorry I called you a dumbass.
It was definitely for fucking pigeons.
I retract my statement.
It was like a 3-inch ledge. Anyway.
Yes, continue.
On the end of one of these spikes was the head of a pigeon.
Uh-oh.
I have no idea how it got there. Some bastard must have taken this pigeon's head off and just stabbed it at the end of the spike.
Just knowing you, I'm scared of where this is going. But continue.
She looked at the pigeon head and she was just like, I noticed it before she did, and I kind of tried to pull her away from the window.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she kind of noticed as I was trying to pull her away. Because then she started like looking around and she saw it and she like freaked the fuck out. She went utterly disgusted. And that kind of like killed a lot of the mood there.
I thought you were going to pick it up and wear it as a necklace.
No. There was glass in the way, fortunately. I didn't have a chance. Otherwise, I probably would have eaten it to impress her or something. So that wasn't my fault, but what happened next definitely was my fault. So we started walking back, and we're like, all right, we have some time to kill. What do you want to do in the city? And she's like, I'm kind of hungry. Let's go to Panera.
Oh, that's expensive.
And at this point, I was a little salty because I already said, we agreed before we were leaving that we weren't going to spend money. And technically, I already spent money because I had to buy the train tickets to get us down here and parking for my car. So I was like, but I didn't care. I was like, okay, she didn't choose this date, so I'm willing to pay for that, no problem. But then she was like, let's go get food. I'm like, okay. I really don't want to, but okay. So we went, and she bought her own food, but I was spiteful. I wanted to stand up for the fact that you weren't going to spend money, so I didn't buy anything. She bought food, but I bought nothing.
My fucking God.
She got food, and we were sitting at a table, right? Looking at her food, I realized, you know what? I was kind of hungry, but I couldn't buy anything because I already made my stand, right? So I went, they have like a little tea stand where you can get like, you can put like sugar and stuff into your tea.
Uh-huh.
They also had lemon slices.
Oh, fuck me.
I grabbed 12.5 lemon slices, took them to the table, and just ate those.
What the hell, Paul? You're like, this will impress her.
I confess, that was all me.
I don't understand where in your brain you were like, this will be okay.
For some reason, my brain thought that was the best option.
It probably would have been fine if you told her, you know what, I am a little hungry, I might go grab something. But you were like, I'm gonna eat those lemons.
So yeah, and then we both kind of like stopped talking to each other. We both attempted to make meetings, but both of us canceled meetings. So we either had school, or I think I was doing school and work at the time.
And then it just kind of fizzled away.
It eventually just fizzled away.
Yeah. It happens like that sometimes, you know?
Yeah, and I'm sure that date didn't exactly encourage her to try harder.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But
my
yeah.
God. You know, and Mandy,
So,
I don't...
anyways.
I only remember her name because I have a really good memory. I'm pretty sure I only heard it once or twice. And, like, here's another funny thing is I was talking to Siri maybe like a month ago or something, and she was talking about something. We were talking about relationships, and she said something about her first boyfriend ever, and I said, oh yeah, Ole? And she was like, how do you know his name? I was like, I just remember everything. She's like, I only talked about him like once. I was like, yeah, I know, and I remember. Don't be judging me.
I'm so bad at names. I'm pretty bad at names. Like,
I have a couple stories where if I don't, my problem with names is I can remember it if I hear it usually, unless it's a dumb name like Brandon. But
Brandon.
It's hard. That's hard for me. But besides that, if I don't ask your name within the first day or two of meeting you, I will never ask your name because I feel like it's the point of no return. And there was someone I knew in high school that I knew for 4 years, and I didn't know his name. And I'd always be like, hey, what's up, dude? And we were really good friends. And now I can't find him on Facebook because I don't know his name. Because I didn't want to ask him for it after. Hey, by the way, what's your name? You've known me for 4 years.
That happens to me at work all the time. I worked at Landauer, where I currently employed for 5 years. But I don't know a lot of people's names who I work near. Because my dad works at the company where I work at now. Mm-hmm. So people never introduce themselves to me because they already think they know me because they know my dad. So they know my name. And since they know my name, they don't feel the need to give their name.
Yeah.
So it'll be like 3 years later and it's like, I still have no idea what your fucking name is.
That's so awkward too. And there's no way to get out of it.
No, you can't ask their name at that point.
Nope. Sorry, what's your name again? That's like me going up to you and be like, what's your name?
And there was another person who has such a weird name that the few times I did hear other people say his name, I had no idea what it was because it was so unusual, to me at least. I'm sure in other cultures it's completely normal. His name was like Pyra.
Pyra?
Pyra. I think. I'm still not 100% positive, but I think it's Pyra.
That's weird.
And I thought it was Huayra at first, and I don't know. I had no idea what it was. And it was just so awkward and uncomfortable.
Well, I worked with this girl. Her name was Urvashaben.
Urvashaben?
Urvashiben. She was like, you could call me Irvy. And I was like, okay, Herbie. And that was uncomfortable.
Oh, I have a great work story.
Okay, go ahead.
I worked second shift, which is 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. or 11:30, something like that, before. Mm-hmm. Which is like the worst life ever because it's too early in the day to do anything with friends like early, and it's too late in the day to do things late. So it was a really crappy shift. But anyways,
yeah, I worked it at McDonald's. It ruins your morning and your evening.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
So we had this horrible supervisor. I don't use a fake name for his sake, because hopefully he's getting his act together. His name was Evan.
Almighty.
Exactly. He was a god.
Awesome.
Evan was a really weird, fidgety dude. And I have a couple stories about Evan. I remember one time, this is like the first week I started working there. I was just chilling in his office, and we started having a random conversation. He was like, we were just waiting for something to load on his computer. And so we were just making small talk. And I remember he started the small talk. He had like a Mountain Dew bottle on his desk. And he's like, so, do you like Mountain Dew? Like, it was the dumbest small talk ever. And I went, yeah. And then I swear, 3 sentences later in our conversation, he got into a rant about the government taking our guns. And I was so uncomfortable. He went from Mountain Dew to the government taking our guns in like 3 seconds, or 3 sentences.
How does that even happen?
Well, I think it was something like, he was like, do you like Mountain Dew? I was like, yeah, it's okay. And he's like, I like Mountain Dew too, but I like Dr. Pepper better. And I was like, yeah, Dr. Pepper's okay, even though I don't really like Dr. Pepper. And he's like, I remember the massacre that took place in the Dr. Pepper factory. I'm like, oh, god damn, this is not going well. And he's like, my grandpa was actually one of the truck drivers that moved the bodies. After that attack, the government tried to take our guns again, and then he went on this huge rant.
Jesus Christ.
And like, there was so much shit. Like, first was the massacre, then his grandpa moved the bodies, and then it was like, I hated it so much. I was like, oh, get me fucking out of here. There's nothing I can bounce off of this without sounding like an asshole.
That guy needs to calm the hell down.
And then there was another time where I have this maintenance guy that I kind of know at work. His name is John. Mm-hmm. I was getting something from the garage with Eric. I said his real name.
I'll try to censor it for you, but I think you're fine
Nah,
if you
it's
didn't
fine.
say
Eric's a
last
common
name.
name. And he doesn't work there anymore, so you can't, like, research where I work.
Oh, true.
Well, I don't want to get to why he doesn't work there anymore soon. So Eric and I went to the garage, and my maintenance friend John was in there doing something. Who knows what John was doing? John knows I'm kind of awkward, so sometimes he just likes to tease me.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric decided to jump in on it too, and it just started getting really weird really fast. Like, Eric was just showing me around the garage, and Eric was like, yeah, this is where these store supplies. It's also where the dumb maintenance guys come out to get a smoke break. And then John just laughed it off, and he's like, yeah, this is also where if we get bored, we can come down here. There's some booze in that corner. And then Eric continued off that, and he's like, if you look past that, there's a bench down the street. There's, like, heroin needles in there.
Holy fuck.
And John is kind of laughing, yeah. And then Eric was like, we don't bother changing needles. We all have AIDS anyway, so we just share. And I could tell John was getting uncomfortable too now. But he kept on going. He's like, if you snap your fingers, some prostitutes will crawl out of the bushes.
Jesus Christ. Glenwood's not that bad.
So that was a really awkward moment I wanted to get out too. Like, it was the kind of thing where I just, like, awkwardly laughed every time they spoke because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Well, now I get to the event that got to Eric being fired. So, it was 11 o'clock, so we were all finishing up our shift. We were about to go home. And then someone started going, oh my, oh my, oh my. Like, she was freaking, someone was losing their shit. So, and then someone else shouted, does anyone know CPR? And I'm like, oh shit. So this just got really, really real. And, like, no one was stepping forward. And I'm like, okay, I had CPR training in high school. If no one else is going to do anything, I'm going to step forward.
Yeah, same.
I stepped forward, and I walked over, and I saw Eric laying on his back in a puddle of his own vomit. And I was like, oh, fuck, this looks serious.
Why didn't anyone call the police already?
Well, I want to get to that. Because the person who noticed and was going, oh my, oh my, oh my, was my friend Rebecca. She had kind of a funny story after I want to tell too. So I knelt down next to Eric, and I noticed his eyes were open. So I, like, waved my hands over his face to see if he was, like, conscious or responding to stimuli.
Uh-huh.
But his eyes didn't track my hand movements, like, at all. They were just staring dead into space. So I'm like, oh no, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. So I just said his name calmly, like, Eric, Eric, Eric. And then slowly his eyes drifted overward towards me. Like, it looked like they were going through, like, molasses.
Oh.
And then he just looked at me, and I'm like, Eric, are you okay? Eric, are you okay? And then he was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you're on the ground. And he's like, I am? What are you talking about? And then he started freaking out, like his breathing got heavier. I'm like, oh no. And then I started waving my hands over, and then he, like, looked back up towards the ceiling, and I waved my hands over his head again, and he wasn't responding once again. I'm like, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. So I helped him, I stood him up, and I got him towards his office.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just waited for the paramedics to come. They did come. And they took care of him, and by then I went home. Because since the paramedics were there, I'm like, I'm not really needed anymore. So I went home, and the next day I came back to work, and I was walking towards the building. And as I was walking towards the building, Eric was walking out of the building away from it. And, like, he is kind of my supervisor, so I was going to ask him, hey, what do you want me to do today? But before I could do that, he kind of, like, walked by me and said, don't worry, I'll be right back. I'm like, okay. And then he didn't come back. And I learned he was fired, and I suspect he was passed out on the ground and throw up because he overdosed.
Probably, yeah.
And because he fidgeted a lot, and he would sometimes disappear for an hour or two. And I'm like, yeah, he definitely overdosed.
Without a doubt.
Mm. So,
Good for Eric. I don't know.
it was so weird because also another time he really freaked me the fuck out. He's kind of like an emotional roller coaster too. Because my second day working there under his employment, the second day, he told me, yeah, Dave was fired. I'm like, who the fuck is Dave? And he's like, the guy that was working next to you yesterday. And then he walked away. And I'm like, oh shit, does that mean I'm next? So I quickly found out that wasn't the case. So I'm going to go through the emotional roller coaster that was Eric now.
Okay.
First, he was pissed because the reason he fired Dave because Dave called in and said, yeah, I'm going to be late. And apparently he does that a lot. So Eric was just like, you're fired. And he was pissed that he had to fire this dude. And then he got happy because he hated Dave. And then he got like ecstatic and almost like lovey-dovey with the other coworkers. I think he might have actually had a crush on the coworker because I noticed while he was talking, he aimed a lot of the conversation towards her. But he was kind of announcing that he was going to get all of us gift certificates. Not me, because I was brand new, but he's going to get all the other employees gift certificates because they've all been doing such a great job lately.
Yeah.
So he stormed off to talk to his boss to see if that was possible for the company to get them gift certificates. He's like, I'm going to talk to the boss. And he walked off. And then he came back completely defeated. And he's like, the boss said it ain't happening. And then he disappeared in his office for a little while. And then he stormed up later like, you know what? Fuck him. I'm getting you guys gift certificates. Yeah, as far as I know, those gift certificates never happened.
Eric sounds awesome. He sounds literally like Eric Foreman.
But yeah, after that day, I never saw him again.
You should try to find him on Facebook.
I totally should. I never thought about that.
You should.
My friend Rebecca, she's the one that first noticed him and started going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
She said when she first saw him laying on the ground, she was like, he's so weird. I didn't think anything was wrong at first. I just thought maybe this is something he does. Then she saw the vomit and realized it might be a problem.
It might be a
So
problem.
she started freaking out. And when I came over and started taking care of him, she kind of like walked off to call the paramedics. And she told me when the paramedics asked how old he is, she didn't give an answer because she was worried she'd offend him, even though he wasn't listening.
That's so fucking weird. Why does she care?
I didn't give an answer because I didn't want to say he was older or younger than he really was, and I was afraid I'd embarrass him.
Embarrass him. I didn't want to embarrass Eric. He's almost dead.
I know. I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Eric could have died because of you, Rebecca. Jesus Christ. Rebecca's got to get her shit together. Does she still work there too?
Yeah, she does work there, so yeah.
If you see her, tell her that Nick, and say Nick Elliott, said she almost killed a man. And then walk away. Probably don't do that. Probably don't do that.
So that was the most awkward. That's Glenwood.
That's Glenwood in a nutshell.
You know what else is Glenwood?
Huh?
We had a threatened shooting at work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not surprising. Did it happen?
No.
Fingers crossed. Oh.
There was this one person. I'm not going to say her name. For
Up.
sure. Threatened shooting's even worse than overdose, probably.
It was Eric.
So, like, I don't know. So, like, I was working on the second floor at this point in time. And everyone I was working with, it was like 6 a.m. because that's when our shift started, was freaking out. Like this is the very start of the day, and everyone's really nervous and freaking out. And then someone said she's gonna come up here and shoot up the place. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? It's probably just drama. I'm not listening to this. And someone walked up to me and said, you tell us if anyone comes up the stairs. because I worked on the second floor next to a window that overlooked like the factory floor.
Yeah.
And through that view, I can see the stairs that leads to the second floor. So I can see someone walking up before they actually get to our room.
Okay.
And they were like, "You sit there and watch that window." And I'm like, "Okay," kind of doing it and also working. And they started freaking out, and they're like, "She's gonna come in and shoot the place. She's gonna come in and shoot the place." And then one of them was talking about how like this person left a Facebook post that said, "It all started at Landauer, and now it's all going to end at Landauer." And that was one of the main reasons they were like really worried. And so apparently at some point before I started the shift, she like wandered upstairs and started acting like really weird, which is another reason why everyone was freaking out. And she never actually came back in the building, as far as I know. She just sat in her car and was like crying, and human resources had to like coax her out of it. And I think they actually said she had a weapon with her.
Oh, did she get arrested?
I don't remember if she was arrested or not, but they did. I don't think there was ever a chance for me to know, because they basically just said she doesn't work here anymore, and they reminded us on the rules of security.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, this company, this is weird.
Yeah, you're lucky, I suppose. If human resources didn't do their job, you all could have been shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, that's Glenwood in a nutshell. Glenwood is a crazy town.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I remember there was this kid named AJ who lived on my block. And my dad was in the living room, and we all looked outside, and AJ was just walking up and down the block with a butcher's knife.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And then AJ was, like, talking to himself, like... and my dad was like...
Swings up the air, like... squeeze.
My dad was like, well, I'm calling the cops. So the cops came and then just brought AJ back home, and that was it. That's such a crazy town. Or one time, there was this dude at the end of my block, Terrace, and there was, like, a bunch of assholes that lived at the house at the end over there who would, like, sell dope and all this stuff, and, like, police were always there, and they terrorized the block, essentially. Well, the one guy would always rollerblade, and he was on his rollerblades, just rollerblading in the middle of the street. And, well, anyways, my dad was coming home one time. I think I was in the car with my dad. And he decided that he was going to lay down in the middle of the road, you know, and block the road so that we couldn't go through. Well, he chose the wrong person to do that to, because my dad's crazy. So when my dad saw this, he slammed on the gas.
It's funny this story ended with, yeah, my dad's in jail for homicide.
So my dad slammed on the gas, like, ready to hit this guy. I've never seen a man get up so fast and run. And my dad was going like 70 down the block to our house. And then he got in the house and called the police, and my dad was like, I almost just murdered this man. He's like, you better get it. And they got in trouble, not even us. It's funny.
Do you remember when we were walking back to my house for some reason after something, and there were just policemen all over my yard?
I think so. That sounds oddly familiar.
They were next door. They were actually doing something with my neighbor, who was Enrique. I think have we mentioned Enrique on this podcast before?
I think we might have once. I think I said I stole his Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It was actually his brother, Emmanuel. So apparently what happened was...
he had a bong. No.
A bong?
I thought that was what... go ahead. I remember Emmanuel got arrested once for having a bong in his room.
Well, in this case, what happened was Emmanuel and one of his friends were over at his house. Mm-hmm. And they both dropped some acid.
Oh, yeah!
Emmanuel's friend got, either he had a really bad reaction to the acid or he was just freaking out.
Yeah.
Acid can make you do. And he thought he was going to, die. And he was, really panicky. So Emmanuel called this friend's dad to tell, Mm-hmm. And then the dad asked where they were. And Emmanuel didn't want to get in trouble, so he's like, yeah, I'm not telling you. And then the dad called the police, calling it a kidnapping.
Jesus Christ.
And so, yeah, once it was called a kidnapping, things got pretty crazy in the
Oh, I'm sure.
over.
You know, and what's funny about that is Emmanuel was definitely the better one of the two. They're a lot better now, from what I can tell. I'm friends with them both on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, it seems like their act has cleaned up a lot.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Definitely, for sure.
So good for them.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Who is this dude?
What, dude?
That's my friend Taiwan! I went on Emmanuel's profile while we were sitting here.
Maybe that's the guy. You didn't know the name.
No, it's not. All right, but we're actually all out of time for this podcast. It's actually, including the other half, which is all one. It's like a minute and 30. An hour and 30. Not a minute and 30.
Got this extra long episode to make
extra long episode for you guys. You can thank Mandy's El Mamo for the extra long Bromocast. Thank you, the Mamo, as we in English would say. But did you have any final thoughts, Paul? Any concerns?
If there is ever a shooter at your job, leave it in the comments below. The story.
If you've ever been shot.
Yeah, if you've been shot, leave it in the comments below.
Leave it in the comments below. If you've ever tripped on acid and were or kidnapped at any point, let us know in the comments below. Or both. This podcast got really dark.
It did.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next week, I suppose.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm Oswald signing out.
Patton Oswald signing out.